So also, Gaana, getting back to your experience at CIID, can you tell us more about like another project of yours, that is the Immersive AR project?
Yeah, I have a Medium article about that. Should I pull that
Also,
up?
yeah, that'll be great.
So this is a project that we did over the course of 2 weeks. This was Immersive Experiences, which was facilitated by James Tickner and Joshua Walton, both of Oculus. And it was one of my favorite projects to do just because we got to mess around in Unity and create fun VR experiences through our phones. So messy AR is something that one of the instructors had said previously in the week. It was around how if you created a VR experience, unlike the real world, there are lots of straight edges. There's lots of clean lines. Everything is quite sterile in a way. And in the real world, where sterility and that sort of minimal aesthetic is interesting, it's like whenever you can achieve it, it's cool. But in the virtual world, where that's the default, it's kind of not that cool. So he liked the idea of messy AR, and this just came up in conversation. And I realized that when it came to technology that we like and are nostalgic about, it like a PlayStation 1 or like a Sony Walkman. Like, we love these, even though you have to kind of like slap it to get it working sometimes. And to me, that is a really messy technology, but it's still very endearing. So with this project, what my team and I wanted to do was to bring messiness into the AR experience in a charming way, but also incorporate digital and physical elements into the project. So to be brief, what we did was we took a Sony tape recorder, and because we liked the way that it makes those clicking sounds, because it's very satisfying to press those buttons.
It's more about delight.
Versus like tapping. I'm sorry?
It's a lot about providing delight to the user.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I don't think it was intentional delight by the makers of this technology. It was just a limitation of the technology at the time where you couldn't make more silent buttons because it's all mechanical.
Right.
Right? And we have grown to love it because we've grown with it. And so what my amazing colleague Mitsu Shah did, she wired up the buttons of this. She opened it up, took some copper tape, some wires, some solder, and she wired all of these buttons up to something called a makey. And a makey is is basically like this board that allows you to convert physical electrical impulses to keyboard input and vice versa. So if I press like the K button on my keyboard, I could affect like a circuit. But if I also press the start button on the Sony cassette recorder, I could also affect that circuit. So we went through a bunch of prototypes, and what we ended up making is something like this. There is a fiducial on the top of the cassette recorder, and the fiducial is basically what anchors the VR experience. So when your camera detects the fiducial, it will project the VR experience with relation to that one square.
Right.
And what we did was I downloaded a video from Adult Swim, and we made a virtual player that is controlled by these physical buttons.
Nice.
So this is a little GIF of me figuring out how to convert the keystrokes to the up motion of the little white ball that you see there.
Right.
So the camera is running Unity. We're going through something called Space Brew. There's a lot of like cloud stuff going on. And yeah, this was like one of the first things that we did. It was great. And then finally, this is like me in my room, just trying to figure out what to make the the VR experience look like. And this is the Unity setup. And the fiducial is the stone thing at the bottom. Nice. So finally, when you put it all together, we created a video player that you could see in VR, played this really wacky video that you could start and stop and adjust the volume for through the physical cassette recorder. And it was amazing. This was just the favorite project for a lot of people. This was the favorite course for a lot of people because of obvious reasons. VR is pretty sick and dope. And I do have a full video of a video documenting the final experience.
Yeah, I've seen the video. Everyone should be seeing this. Go to the Medium article and see this video and view the project. It was super cool. And
I think it's fun.
exactly, it looks really cool, and it's like everything that you imagined. Actually implementing it and doing it, it gives a different kind of like excitement and relief. I feel not relief, actually, more like really like pure happiness.
Yeah, it was one of those things where you're like, I'm not trying to make a product, I'm not trying to sell the product, I'm just trying to learn and have fun. And
Right.
that's why I think the college experience is so valuable, because you don't really get to do that outside of college as much, I would say. But yeah, definitely a fave.